If you've been seeing dark romance recommended absolutely everywhere on BookTok, and you're tempted to give it a go, but you're also slightly terrified that you're going to accidentally pick up the literacy equivalent of jumping into the deep end with no armbands on, I have got you. Because one of the biggest misconceptions about dark romance is that it's all the same. It isn't. There are dark romances that are funny. There are mafia romances. There are psychological romances. There are gothic romances. My fave. And then there are books that make you put down your Kindle, stare into the distance and think, well, that certainly happened. So today, I'm going to walk you through what I think are some of the best gateway books into dark romance, depending on what kind of reader you are. Now, a quick disclaimer before we get into it. Dark romance explores fictional relationships and darker themes that are absolutely not intended to be relationship goals. Everyone has different limits, so please check the trigger warnings before you start. None of these books are considered safe books. They are simply books I recommend to someone who's curious about the genre, than someone who's already read every pitch black romance under the sun. Okay, let's get into section 1, what I like to call If You Want Something Fun. It's pretty obvious, it's going to be Lights Out by Navessa Allen. If you're worried dark romance might be too intense, Lights Out by Navessa Allen is honestly where I'd start. It has all the things that people associate with dark romance. Morally grey hero, stalking, obsession, kink exploration, protective behaviour, but also it is absolutely hilarious. Josh is one of those main characters that BookTok collectively adopted, and the banter between him and Ali generally makes this feel so much lighter than a lot of other dark romances. It's spicy, it's ridiculous, it knows it's ridiculous, which makes it a brilliant first step into this genre. Please do the audiobook though if you are so inclined, because the narrators did an amazing job. That audiobook is recommended regularly until this day, and it came out 2 years ago. Another one along a similar vein is Butcher and Blackbird. If your humour is slightly concerning, then Butcher and Blackbird should be on your list. Imagine a rom-com. Now make both main characters serial killers who exclusively hunt other serial killers. Somehow, Brynne Weaver makes it adorable. I don't know how. I generally don't know how she pulled it off. It's gruesome, it's chaotic. You'll laugh, you'll gag. Sometimes you'll do both at the same time. If you love character chemistry and witty banter more than psychological darkness, this is another brilliant introduction. Now we're in section 2, which is So You Fancy Trying Mafia. The first one I have is the Sweetest Oblivion. If organised crime is more your thing, then I'd start with the Sweetest Oblivion. Danielle has this way of writing mafia romance that feels just incredibly addictive, and without throwing you into the darkest corners of this genre. This has forbidden attraction because the hero is engaged to the heroine's sister. Hero and heroine, debatable. The tension is incredible. Nicholas Russo is one of those quietly intimidating MMCs who barely has to raise his voice. If you enjoy yearning, this book has enough yearning to power a small village. Then we have Sinners Anonymous. If you have survived the Sweetest Oblivion and you loved it, Sinners Anonymous is where you want to go next. This one is definitely darker. The forbidden relationship is even messier. The MMC is morally questionable in all the ways you might expect. There's obsession, possessiveness, family politics, mafia chaos, basically everything you've come looking for in this genre. Now we have section 3. Are you ready for a dark romance BookTok classic? I'm of course talking about the Devil's Night series by Penny Douglas, okay? And we start with Corrupt. If you have been around BookTok for any amount of time, you've probably heard someone mention the Devil's Night series. And there's a reason, okay? Because it's a banger. This series is basically a rite of passage. We've got secret societies, revenge, fear, obsession. A lot of obsession in dark romance, you know? And it really helped a lot of people define what they think of when they hear dark romance. Is it darker than Lights Out? I'd say absolutely. It's also a great stepping stone. Section 4, which I like to call, okay, now you're ready. We have the Hollow Boys series by Monty J, which we would start with The Lies We Steal. This is for when you finally realise that you like this genre. This is when I would send you to The Lies We Steal. The atmosphere is darker, the emotions hit deeper, the characters are beautifully broken. Everyone desperately needs therapy in this series, and no one is making sensible decisions. This is probably actually the weaker book of the whole series. Once you start, they just get better and stronger, and there's a whole revenge plot going on. So unfortunately for us readers, it makes this book impossible to stop reading. And this is where I'd say you'd officially left beginner dark romance territory. And honestly, I think that's the best way to get into dark romance. Don't immediately pick the most disturbing book that you've heard about because TikTok told you to do so. Find the corner of the genre that actually appeals to you. Maybe it's funny serial killers, maybe it's mafia, maybe it's secret societies, maybe it's obsessive anti-heroes. Dark romance is such a huge genre that there is generally something for everyone who is generally curious about it. So I'd love to know in the comments, what was the first dark romance you ever read? Was it the book that got you hooked, or the one that nearly scared you away completely? And if you've got any recommendations for someone who's just starting out in this genre, leave them below, because I'm always looking for my TBR to grow.